Hello and welcome. I'm Danielle. Today I'm going to be talking about the best web analytics tools for Zappos.com. So before I start, I want to get through some definitions. So what's the difference? So a metric is basically is a number. So you're going to be looking at page views, the time on a site, or the total number of visitors. And there's a lot more than I just mentioned. The persona, on the other hand, is the individual's journey through your site. So this could be very individualistic, but you can make categories on the types of people that are coming to your site based on the metrics that you have on demographics. The key performance indicator is a metric that helps you to measure how you're doing against your company's objectives. And I'll talk about this more in a later slide. So the persona for Zappos.com. Based on the demographics seen below from Alexis.com, I came up with a persona as a middle class mother of 3 children ages 12 to 14. Now, this is very specific, but in order to show the metrics that are measured, I wanted to be very clear. So she's shopping for shoes for herself, her children, and her husband. Now you can see the reason I chose this is because the gender that is coming to the site is overwhelmingly female. Also, the education seems to be no college, some college. So a large demographic in income, but I decided to use middle class based on that. So the metrics recorded for this individual would be visits. She's a visitor, obviously. Page views. She's obviously going to be going to multiple pages if she's searching for so many different types of shoes. She's going to be going to men's, children's, as well as women's. So acquisition, traffic source. Is she typing in the URL organically, or is she coming from sites such as Google or Amazon, which link to Zappos? Also, behavior, her pages. How many pages is she going to? How much time is she spending on these pages? And also, where is she exiting? As you can see, I pulled up, this is just the home page of Zappos. You can see the tabs above. As I mentioned, she would most likely start going into women's, men's, kids, and then into the subcategories of those categories, which would bring up a lot of pages. She could also, up here you can see, she could also type in a keyword. Say her husband wanted a specific pair of dress shoes, or her son wanted a specific pair of sneakers. She could simply type in New Balance sneakers here and then thread it through. So this would be specific. You could see the metrics you would be measuring would be the keyword she's typing in and the pages that she's going to from the home page. So the key performance indicator for this, based off the objective I made of an increased order size per customer. So the KPI for this is the average order size per customer. So how many shoes did she buy? The target might be an average of $200 per order for the month of, let's say, October. So if she bought 4 pairs of shoes, one for each individual in her household, this would be a large order size and it would probably exceed this average amount of $200. So what tools to use? There are so many analytics tools out there. I have pinpointed 3 that I think would be useful for specifically this company. The first is going to be Google Analytics, then Chartbeat, and Kissmetrics. Here's the dashboard for Google Analytics. You can see it's pretty in-depth, although they do give you images and graphs, which is always helpful. So the pros for Google Analytics is that you can choose the dashboard you want as your home screen. So if we go back, what is important to you? Do you want to see your site usage, visitors, overview? You can place all of this on your dashboard and you can actually make multiple dashboards. So it's customizable to you. So you can determine where people abandon their shopping cart. I thought this was important for Zappos because it is a site that people are shopping on. You want to see where are they leaving their shopping cart? Was there a reason? If there is, go in and fix that page if there's a specific page that it's happening on. Also, visitor demographics. Google does a very good job of with demographics. There's so many different metrics that they measure where people are coming from, male, female, etc. So the cons is that there's no real-time data. Google, it takes days to post the metrics and the information you're looking for. Creating custom reports can be limited based on what type of Google Analytics platform you have. Though it is free, there are paid versions that give you a little bit more information. It definitely also requires training. It's very, very in-depth, and you would have to train your employees so that they're comfortable with the platform. The next one I chose to do is Kissmetrics. This is a newer channel, and it shows you real-time metrics, which is very cool. A lot of people now want to know what's happening now on their site. It's visually appealing. You can see that the numbers are straightforward. They're right there for you. And it only goes back about a month in advance, though, which is a disadvantage if you want to look at patterns over time. Another disadvantage that's not as specific or in depth as Google. It's very simple, straightforward, and it shouldn't be used all by itself because it does not measure everything. The next one is Chartbeats. Chartbeats is very similar to Kissmetrics. You can see it's very visually appealing though. They use different types of graphs that are easy on the eye. You can also see, which I thought is cool, the desktop users versus mobile users. We are such a mobile society right now, and a lot of websites are accommodating with that by using apps as well as different social media channels. So being able to see that is an advantage where your users looking at your site from their mobile device or their desktop. The pros of this is that it's easy to navigate. You can also manage, as I said before, your social media sites on it. It's quick information that you can use now. If you see something is decreasing at a rate you don't want it to, then you can fix it now. You can show multiple sites in one view. The cons are that it's quick snapshots. You're going to be wanting more. It's almost too simple, though simple is good. With such a big site like Zappos, you might need something a little more in depth. So to my recommendation, I actually recommended two. I chose to use Google Analytics as well as Kissmetrics. And the reasons for this is that, as I said before, Google Analytics does in-depth measurements and you can measure patterns over time, whereas Kissmetrics is looking at real-time metrics, so it's happening live within the second. The reason I chose these two and not Google and Chartbeats is because the users on both the channels have the opportunity to integrate their Kissmetrics account with their Google Analytics account. So data can be pulled from both sites without going back and forth, which is a huge advantage. With Zappos being such a large company, it would be very beneficial to look at both live metrics and patterns over time. You want to see how you're doing in the long run, but also how you're doing in this month if they're doing a sale or a campaign. Looking at those metrics in real time can be very helpful in adjusting your strategies based on what's happening now. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful.